Okay, so being that tomorrow is Chanukah, or tonight really, we are going to, the request was made to do Mishlei pesukim that have to do with Chanukah, which obviously there are none, but there are 3 Mishlei pesukim that have to do with Ner, and we have 3 scheduled Mishlei days. So we're going to aim to do the 3 Mishlei pesukim that have to do with Ner on those 3 days, okay? And we're starting with the last one because Isaac only brought his last volume. So this is 2420. Yeah. Alrighty. So let us look at this here. Okay. So, so this is actually part of a couplet. Okay, I think you have to say this because it says, because this one begins with ki, which is giving a reason. So it's presumably connected to the previous one. So 24:19 is where we're starting. Okay. Al tischar b'mareim, al tikane b'rashaim. Do not, how do you, so tischar is a weird one, right? Don't, taf ches resh. I don't even know, I think tacharus, I only know that from the wrong usage in Hilchos Deos. I just thought of a funny pun. You could call Hilchos Yisodot or Hilchos Deus, right? Yeah, okay, anyway. Al tischar b'mareim. So any guesses as what tischar is?
They might want things on an olive, but
where?
Before the pet, like he's not there.
Oh, yeah. So let's look at Mitzvah Tzion for 19. I assume he'll say something. Tiskar is inyan his arvus lihidamos. Oh, interesting. This might be more related to Chanukah than we assume, right? Don't assimilate to be similar to.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fine. All right, we're obviously going to keep the Chanukah drushos out of this until we get the shot. But all right. Don't assimilate is hisarvos, right? Don't like intermingle to become similar to. That's literally assimilate, right? Don't assimilate with Mereim. He goes on, Kmo ve'ich tischara es hasusim. What does that mean? How can you assimilate with the horses? I have no idea what that context is. Actually, let me look that up. Yirmiyahu 12. Yirmiyahu.
Oh, you see from here that the Greeks were really forced.
All right.
They really bought the whole Persian horse.
Okay, 12. What is it? Wait. Does it say? Hold on just a second here. Puzzle is not being highlighted. 12:5. So in context, it says, okay, so it says if you rate, the full pasuk is ki es, no. Looks like the paragraph starts with 4. So it says, ad maseh te'evel haaretz ve'esev kol hasada yivash. How long must the land mourn and the vegetation of the entire field become withered? Me ra'as yoshveva safsa uvehimos ba'ov ki amru lo yir'eh es avariseno. Blah, blah, blah. Because of the wickedness of its inhabitants, even animals and birds have ceased to live because they said, God does not see our end. Okay, now has our pasuk, or his pasuk. Ki es raglaim ratzta vayal ve'ech tesachare es hasusim uve'eretz shalom ataboteach ech tase bigeon hayarden. Okay, so it says, if when you race with footmen they exhaust you, how can you compete with horses? So this is not. So he must learn it here also. There's not compete, but this is another. That's how I learned it from the Rambam when he says tacharus. Is I would have translated it as competition. Okay, so we've got 2 candidates now. Okay, for al tiskar b'mereim, do not assimilate into mereim. Into how do you translate mereim?
Those who befriend.
Interesting. I thought that this was from Ra.
Causers of bad.
Yeah, bad causers. Okay, right. Evildoers, I would say. That's just how I would translate it.
Yeah.
Don't. So we have either don't assimilate into evildoers or don't compete with evildoers. Al tekane barashaim. Don't be jealous of the wicked. Kilo tihiye acharis lara, because there is not going to be any. And acharis here I think means like lasting end. There's not going to be any lasting outcome or lasting end to evil. Ner reshaim yidach, the lamp of the wicked will be extinguished. Okay, and I believe We'll have to check this. I think ner literally means lamp, not candle. I think we think of it as a candle because that's what we have, but I'm pretty sure the meaning is lamp. I don't know where I'm getting that from though. Yeah.
It'll be extinguished and it won't last for 8 days.
yeah. So it'll be, and a yidach, the Mitzvah Tion says yidach is inyan, sorry. He doesn't say extinguished. Inyan niter ukfitza, kamo doachu k'esh kotzim, tuhu kavui haner shekopit hashal heves min hapsila. Okay, so I think it means will flicker, like flicker out. I think that might be it. Let's look at this pasuk in Tehillim. Kuf Yud Ches, kotzim. Hold on. Kotzim. Kuf Yud Ches Yud Beis. Yud.
What the hell is this that we said?
This is Hodu Lashem Ki Tov Kilon Chasto Yomar Yisrael Kilon Chasto. Yeah. Wait, no, hold on. This is a different one. Ish Kotim. It's in hollow. Sabuni Chidvorim Dachu. Oh, Chanukah. Dachu Ish Kotim. So 12 is they encircle me like bees, but they are extinguished. So that says extinguished. But again, maybe he learns this differently here. Yeah, I thought Yidach means extinguished. Let's see now. Yeah. What was it?
Let's continue. Let's finish the
I already read that. Tohu, Tohu kavui haner, that the candle will be extinguished. Shekofet hashahavas min hapsila, because the flame will leap from the wick. So that's what made me think it means flickers out, not just runs out of oil. Yeah. Let's look at the what's his name? The Targum. Okay.
Wait, the next pasuk seems to be talking about Titarian pasuk, like a mixture or whatever.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yiras Hashem b'nivim. Oh yeah, yes. My Mishlei sense is thinking that might be tied to the pesukim in the same way that the Rabbeinu Yonah ties it, like by association of topic. Okay. But Yud Tes and Chaf are like one sentence. Right. So like we'll take that. Sure. All right. So the Targum for Yud Tes says Lo tischasam b'bishaya v'lo sitan b'rashiaya. Okay, so don't tischasam. I don't know what that is. Is that like related to lo tachsam shor b'disho? Like don't muzzle? I don't know. And lo titan b'rashiaya mutud lo havya acharisa tava labishe ushragahon derashie nidach. Okay, so the second one is definitely very, very close to literal. The shraga though is flame. So he translates near as flame. Okay, fine. I'm not interested in going into this right now in terms of looking up all the words in the Targum. And then let me look at Sadyuk on, which you know what? I'll look at Sadyuk on my PDF here. Hold on. Sadyuk on. So what are we in? What chapter? This is 24.
What? Okay. Which one?
The good one.
You passed the test. Okay. 24:19, right? Is what we were doing? Yeah, Al Tischar. Okay, so Sadigon translates this as Tischar is Hacheshek. This is a Kafech explaining Hacheshek v'halachitus achar davar mitoch chibalo. So it is desire and burning yearning, I guess, lachitus, after something out of love of it, or being attracted to it. Okay, so that's closer to don't be jealous of, right? Like don't be, I think jealousy is a good word there. So don't, so we now have for al tischar b'mareim, we have don't assimilate into evildoers, don't compete with evildoers, and don't be jealous of evildoers. The jealousy one matches the second half of the pasuk closest, because the second one says don't be jealous of the wicked, right? So that's his advantage here. And then for the second pasuk, he says, for 20, he says, does he say anything? Looks like, hold on a second here. Hold on. Okay, fine. So he doesn't say it for the second one. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we have. So we've got three translations for Al Tischar b'mareim, and don't be jealous of the Rashaim. Kiloti achris l'ra ne Rashaim yidach. Yeah. So what are the questions? Should I open up a Mishlei template? I guess I should if I'm responsible. Okay, so let me save this as, oh, you know what? I have to now share everything. Hold on, share the screen for everything. What am I doing? Oh yeah. Still trying to find my way around this new window, Word, Microsoft Word.
Oh, because you had 2007 one.
Yeah, the old one, the old guard.
So look at Klasam.
Yeah,
And
but you're looking it up in Hebrew though.
oh, okay. Never mind.
I mean, you can tell me what it means, but that's not the Targum.
Yeah, it doesn't really make that much sense.
Okay. All right.
Block, bar, stop, stem, obstruction, tourniquet.
Yeah. I was wondering why both of you were celebrating getting the Green Dictionary. Yeah.
But I also looked up Nair.
Yeah.
And it says candle, suppository, candela.
I don't think it means suppository. Yeah. Okay. So we have.
I think it's just a particular usage of the word suppository. I think it's like a reserve that's speaking for.
Oh, you're right. Not like a caffeine suppository on Yom Kippur. Yeah. Okay. That's funny. And it's still a weird word though. I mean, for Nair, I've never seen it. Yeah. Unless it's like, no, it can't be, because you got the word near in Hebrew also, which means a furrow. But like, I don't see like it's a suppository for things that are in furrows. I don't know. All right, so let me just type this translation out now. So we have, we have. You can keep that close at hand because we use it from time to time. Thank you. Okay, so do not. So what do we say the three are? Do not assimilate. So assimilate, or compete with, or be jealous of. Those are the three.
Compete with.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, was there? Yeah, compete with, right? Yeah. Assimilate, compete with, or be jealous of. Evildoers.
Right, I pointed that one. What's the difference between the first and the
second? Yeah, there might not be a difference. For you mean for jealous?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And do not be jealous of the wicked. For the, I'll just make this a separate line. Because there will not be a lasting end to evil, a lasting outcome to evil. The candle of the wicked will, and I mean, I am going to use candle now because the Metzudas Tzion mentioned a wick, will flicker out. And I'll say flicker out just,
yeah. A lamp has a wick also.
Lamp has a wick. No, not necessarily, right? If it's gas. If it's oil, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they had other substances that allowed the old school lamps to burn that were not. I mean, I guess maybe it has to be wick. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, fine.
I mean, their candles, or I don't know exactly what it was, what the English word is.
Yeah.
But when they talk about like using like a narrow Shabbos, it's like a bowl with a wick and oil.
Right. Yeah. I just what I don't know is if there were other forms of like igniting the oil directly. You know.
Yeah.
Just not sure. Okay. So so this is what we got. Okay. So what are the questions here? I'm just gonna actually skip over all the Metzudas and audio and stuff, and R scroll and living now if we don't have. Yeah. Okay. So I guess the main question is why not? Well, I guess it answers why not, right? But I guess what is the difference between the two halves of 19, right? If there is any.
Theoretically, let's say someone learned these pesukim in isolation. Would you say that they would get like close to the right idea, or would they be totally?
Well, you could learn. Let's see. The second one is only going to give you an idea about what's going to happen to Rishayim, and I guess you could infer based on that you wouldn't be jealous, but you wouldn't be able to infer what the pasuk is telling you to do or not do.
Right.
You know, and then the first half, there might be many reasons that you shouldn't be jealous of Rishayim. You know, So I don't think you could get the idea. You could get ideas, but you couldn't get the idea because this is giving a specific argument. Don't be jealous of them because there's no lasting outcome to Ra, unless you say that this is the only possible reason to not be jealous of them or something. Yeah.
What is the kinui of an air flicking out?
Squinty eyes. The kinui of an air flickering
For
out.
that under mashal.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the mashal of ner Rishaim Yid'ach? Oops. Yeah, Yid'ach. Okay. I guess what about the Rishaim would a person be jealous of?
Right. I mean, this might be the same question as what is the mashal, but what is it adding that it didn't have in the first time?
Okay, good. So I should have said what is the nimshal of ner Rishaim Yid'ach, and then why is this mashal necessary? Okay. Also, so this is, I'm going to try to ask the corresponding question to what about the Rishaim would a person be jealous of? So I'm going to say what would cause or tempt a person to tischar b'mareim? Yeah. Right. So because, and we'll have to leave that open because we don't know what it is. I guess, what does it mean that there won't be an akris l'ra?
Also, right. I guess according to the intermingling thing.
Yeah.
Is it saying or the competing? Is it saying you'll meet that same fate or something, or?
Oh, that's interesting.
Or is it
that is interesting? I was taking it in a simpler way, which is don't be jealous of them because it's not going to turn out so well for them.
Right. But let's say you say intermingling or whatever.
Yeah.
Going to intermingle with them.
Right. So then it would seem to be saying that that's going to be your fate. But we still have to contend with the fact that if the first half means intermingling and then the second half means being jealous of, so then it is making an argument that would encompass both of those directives,
Yeah.
which would lead me to believe more like the first way I said it, that it's not worth competing with them or being jealous of them because it's just, they're not going to end well, Yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
also with pasuk chav,
Mhm.
pasuk, it seems to say that the reason why you shouldn't foster them is because they're not going to, or at least they're going to end at some point. Not
Yeah.
anything intrinsic within the rishut itself that's bad.
Right. But I guess I don't know if I agree with that inference though, because it is saying this about the Rishaim themselves. For example, I mean, this is kind of a obvious point for me, but we're all gonna flicker out, So it must be saying something that is unique about the Rishaim that is making them flicker out. So I would assume that it is intrinsic to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
The two halves of the first passage, the way they sound to me like what they're trying to convey, and I'm not getting into the particulars of what it means, or that you shouldn't be either you shouldn't be at a stooping to their level,
Mhm.
where in terms of what you're assessing what you want in terms of the same framework as what the Russia wants.
Yeah.
Where you either be competing with.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to unify the two, right? So so really what it's telling you to do. So behaviorally, it's telling you not to compete with them or be jealous of them. By behaviorally, I mean in your emotions, which I guess is not behaviorally. But then in terms of logically, it's saying don't put yourself into the same value system, which would cause you to compete with them or be jealous of them, because you're not going to compete or be jealous of someone if you're just not in their value system or their realm or their pursuits. Yeah, that's good. That's a good move. Yeah. It's also funny that it says Loti Akris Lara. Nerushaim Yidach. Nerushaim Yidach is they will flicker out. But Loti Akris La sounds like the evil itself will
Well,
not have a lasting outcome.
Is the Ner Sham, is that themselves? Maybe
Oh, that's a good question
their
also, right?
Ra.
That's part of the, I guess, the decoding the Nimshal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the Ner is their Ra or whatever.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it could be their raw or their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of thinking their life, but I don't know if
I
that's,
see what you're
yeah.
saying.
Yeah. All right, should we start looking at Mefarshim?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like I would like to get some idea here now. Instant gratification. Okay, let's look at Mitzu's David first, since his translation was seems fruitful. Yutes al tisarev im hamareim lasos kamasem. Okay, so that's don't assimilate with the evildoers to act like they do. Okay, al takane b'hatzlachas harishayim, and don't be jealous of the success of the wicked.
Right.
All right, let's see what he says for the second part, then we'll think. Lo tihi acharis lara. Sorry, acharis. Ratzalamar lo tihi acharis kamo hareshis. Okay, meaning the end will not be like the beginning. Kisofam la'avadon the yuchba. Is that a real conjugation? Yuchba ner nishmasam, and what was it? No. No, I'm just wondering if it's supposed to be yichabe.
Yeah, it's yichabe.
Yeah, yuchba, I guess it will be extinguished, maybe. I don't know. Kisofam la'avadon, their end is for destruction, and yuchba ner nishmasam, and the soul of the candle of their soul will be extinguished. Now that he's getting Yud Vav, yeah.
Oh, I mean, this is Vav Yud.
No, I have Vav Yud Vav.
Oh, I don't have Yud.
Okay, fine. So then that might be a typo. Yeah. Okay. Kisofam lavdon. Yeah, I have Yuchba.
Yeah, so that,
What was it?
I have that.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So it's either typo or two different gears. Ner nishmasam. So the reason why I'm saying ner nishmasam, I think this is why I was thinking this also, because the pasuk that we, the other pasuk, which theoretically we're going to do next week, is nishmas ner Hashem nishmas Adam.
Mhm.
So it's in Mishlei mashalim that the ner is equal to a neshama. Yeah. So okay. So what do we get from here? So he's saying number one, mingling with them is bad, in the sense of doing their actions, or that's what it's telling you not to do, right? Don't intermingle with them to do their actions. So it does not necessarily mean don't interact with them at all. Right. But if your interaction with them is going to prompt you to act like them, then don't do that. And then don't be jealous of their success. And then the second half is saying that, I don't know why he has to say lo tihi ha'achris kamo hareshis. Oh, in other words, the reshis is success,
Right.
but the achris is destruction.
Yeah.
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 So this seems like a very, very basic idea about our attitude towards Rishayim.
Yeah, you see their short-term success, and you think that what they're doing is good, and you want to try to compete with them.
Right.
Because they're succeeding.
Yeah, right.
Um,
And we talked about this in Mizmor Shilim Shabbos, right? In our first Tehillim Shir of where we said, this is 92.
when the wicked bloom like grass to the shore forever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Bifurach Rishayim Kamo Esav, when the wicked bloom like grass, via Titu Pola Oven, and the doers of iniquity blossom. Hisham Dam Adiad, it is to destroy them forever. And we said there that it's because if you are a Rasha, and just using a basic idea of Rasha here, Mishlei go-to definition here is like Rashaim are really, they're not just fools. It's not just that they are, only focused on the immediate. In fact, the Rashaim are focused on the long term. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to set up a system and impose it on reality, in which the ultimate outcome of the system is their own power or greatness or dominance. So that has to collapse at some point, because that's not what the system is. That can only it is destined to be short-lived. You can't fight reality.
What meaning? Because reality, what? Like meaning you're just a cog in the system, basically. So you can't.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expand your. It depends on what system we're going to be talking about here. That's why I'm speaking in generalities. But like, let's say, for example, a dictator, right? Like an extreme form of that. So he will. There's only a certain point you can push your subjects to the point where they're going to attempt to overthrow you, or if you are even like a tyrannical boss in a company, like you're going to end up like you're trying to have a system. In reality, it's a system of human beings, but you want a system of robots or slaves. So the natural inclination of people to not want to be treated that way or subjected to like these harsh measures or whatever, eventually they will fight back because they're people. So if you try to treat them like slaves, or robots or objects, you're engaging in them in a way that is not in line with the reality of what they are. So they're gonna fight back, Or if you try to make a thing where you're gonna last forever, or if you try to make a thing where you're all powerful. So there are limits to your power and there are limits to your being,
And that's all Rishon.
That's all Rishayim, yeah. Yeah, different degrees, obviously, and also different particulars, but yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, let's say I mean, you could take it in a playground level. Let's say like you have a kid who really likes the slide. So like he just punches every kid who's waiting in line for the slide to try to get people to not go down the slide. Well, like, at a certain point, that strategy is not going to last. Like, the kids are going to like fight back, or the parents are going to get upset and like remove them from that thing. Like it's just not going to work out. This is not your slide. It's playground. Yeah. So is there something beyond the basic idea then?
Right.
Because this seems too basic.
Tongue's candle lasts for 8 days.
Yeah, I mean the candle thing is I feel like the chiddush has to be in the candle mashal. Because
I think
that's like the new thing. That's what's being added here. That's the new feature. Because I mean, Mishlei begins with him telling his son not to hang out with the evildoers and run with them because he's going to get the consequences.
Actually, that's about heretics.
Really? You don't say. You know who else doesn't say? All of it in front except Rashi now. Yeah. Yeah. So what's the deal with the candle?
I guess the analogy of like flickering out.
Yeah.
Sounds like it doesn't have like the fuel to sustain itself.
Yeah.
Like it isn't.
Oh, so you know what? There's two types of flickering out. And now I'm questioning whether we translate them to Sion correctly. Okay, let's go back to Sion. Hold on. Because flickering out could be running out of fuel, which is what you're imagining, like it just runs out of stuff to burn. But Mitzvah Sion said, Inyan, what is your word after the word Inyan?
Nitur.
Nitur. Okay, interesting. So it has a vav there. So that one I don't know. Nitur. And this is from like Yeser, but Nitur.
Or Nosa?
Yeah. Okay. Nitur is to jump, bounce, or caper.
Caper.
Yeah.
I love capers.
Yeah, but I don't know what that is here. Okay, so jump. Ukvita, right? So that's also kvita is jumping, right? So skipping and jumping. Yeah. Kamo. Dohu, yeah. Dohu keish kotzim. Don't talk about that. This is a G-rated podcast. Tihu kavui haner shekofit hashahavas mina psila. The flame leaps from the wick. So what I'm thinking maybe, and especially because the dohu keish kotzim, what happens when you burn kotzim? Yeah, it flares out. It flares up and then goes out because it burns itself up, So that's not running out of fuel. I think what's happening physically there from my fire building experience, I don't know if that's comparable. I've never burned thorns. Actually, I have. So I think let's say, for example, you take, so okay, here's the main mistake people make when they build fires, right? Is they know that you have to have kindling of some sort, right? And they take a bunch of newspapers and put them under there, and then they just light newspapers. And if you have too much, it'll flare up. And I think what happens is it just consumes all of the oxygen, and then it just burns out. So that's a different kind of burning out. It's like, and then goes out. So to me, even though I don't understand the nimshal yet, that seems to be more analogous to what happens to the Roshaim than running out of fuel. Their success itself, like, is a sign of their imminent downfall, or their success brings about their imminent downfall. You try to get too big too fast because you're not in reality. You're trying to impose a fantastical plan onto a system that can't sustain it, and then that causes you to go out. So again, like with the Hitler example of trying to literally conquer the world, that's flaring up and out, not flickering out.
So what's the neshama?
Yeah, so neshama is a little bit more difficult because it sounds like they're going to die, right? And that's like extreme Rashayim. That's not like your average Rasha is not going to die as a result of his success, I don't think. Yeah, that's a good question. And I also don't know what we should think about neshama here, because I mean, again, just going with the Rambam's warning about neshama, neshama can mean either, sometimes it means the seichel, sometimes it means the thing that keeps you alive, like the biological, like life force. And I think those are the two main meanings of it. Like the two pesukim that are exemplify this are Vayipach bi'apav nishmas chaim. That's God, right, breathing into him. So there you could learn it as either biological life or the seichel, because depending on whether you go with, what does it mean the man became a nefesh chaya, if that's like targum, like then it's his rationality. And then the other one is kol haneshama halal ya kol haneshama, right, is that what's the part of you that engages in halal is your seichel, or kol asher nishmas ruach chaim bo, or nishmas chaim bo, nishmas. I don't know. I forgot, but there are pesukim that talk about like the that life like that, So I don't know what Mitzvah David means by neshama here. Sounds like death though, right? Their neshama will flicker out, or their neshama, yeah. Not sure. You want to look at you have Rabbeinu Yonah here. You can borrow Rabbeinu Yonah if you want. What page is it on?
Tarpa.
We got a juicy, big Rabbeinu Yonah on both of these. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. You test. I'm gonna start reading.
Okay.
Al tischaber marim, al tischaber im hamrim. Oh, so he says don't be friends with. So I don't know if that's just a variant on the assimilate with. Don't be friends with the evildoers. Tischar sharasha tachar. Humi binyan hakal miloshin ve'ich tischara as hasusim. Oh, I meant to look up on the Concordancia, or in the Al HaTorah's dictionary, what they define tischar as. Oh, weird. This only appears in. Oh, so they're not learning it. They're learning the short is chara. Okay, so to burn, be kindled of anger. So that seems probable if we're using the ner mashal. Don't become inflamed by Meraim, because their flame will burn out.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's one. Be kindled, burning with zeal, heat oneself in vexation. They translate the Yirmiyahu pasuk as, "How canst thou hotly contend in a race with the horses?" Okay, so so that's competition, hot competition, a heat, right? That's what they even use for in races, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. Altzkan Bershayim. We'll read the whole thing. I think we're gonna have to probably come back to this tomorrow, but we'll just get the facts today. Altkane Bereshayim, b'makomos rabim, he's here shalil l'kane Bereshayim. So in many places, oh good, he's starting to acknowledge this is a commonplace idea. He's saying not to be jealous of Bereshayim. Kamosh Kazav, as it says, Altkane b'anshe ra'a, don't be jealous of evil men. B'ni al yikane libucha b'chata'im, my son, don't let your heart become jealous of sinners. Meaning lo hutzrach lahazir shlo yikanim b'chatayim over rishayim lachdo ularharshia kamosam. He doesn't need to warn to not be jealous of sinners and their of bechetam uva risham, their sin and their evil, to sin and to do evil like them. Okay, so he's saying it's not necessary to warn that. Adam So the emphasis here is not like Mutus David on. He's not saying don't act like them to do wicked like them. He's saying don't be jealous of them, of their shalva v'ashram ukvodam. So no. You could say that this is all included in the hatzlacha that the Mutus David mentioned, but he says three things: their tranquility, the fact that it seems like they're getting along just fine and not being interrupted or whatever, their wealth, and their kavod. So it's not warning a person not to be to lust after wealth and kavod. Meaning that it's not a general thing about don't be jealous of those phenomena. Here's the explanation. Oh, he's revving up to give an explanation now. You know he's serious. You should know. Okay, so say this. That was a long sentence. Many times, a person will be jealous of the wealth and kavod as a lot or a portion of the people in whom he finds the wealth and the honor, and he will be jealous of that person's portion because he imagines that there is a certain advantage or stature or level of greatness that you get from that chelek. Okay, so just to explain what he's saying, right? He's saying that we're not talking here about I like money, that guy has money, I want money like that guy has. It's this guy is a rich guy. The money makes him a rich guy. And I want this money so I can be a rich guy like that guy. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like you want this status that comes with the thing, not just the thing itself. You know, I think that's what he's saying. Is that, yeah, okay. Yeah, there we go. If you see that wealth and honor are possessed by a guy who's covered in boils, ish machovos, or a person who's suffering from pain, via dua choli. Did you say you do a choli?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think he means like a specific disease. Like say you have like a really, really rich person who's like, suffering from like terminal cancer or whatever, lo yikane ba'osher uvachavod. So then you won't be jealous of that guy's wealth and kavod. So you are not going to be jealous of that guy's stuff, of his chelek, because he doesn't get glory from the wealth or the honor of people honoring him. Okay. Whose harnu shelo yishader harasha lo ye'asher be'inyano biglal osher o kavod. So therefore, he's warning us not to glorify the Rasha and not to Yasher B'inyano, praise, I think, his state, maybe, Biglal Osher O Kavod, because due to the wealth or honor that he has. Osher Elenu Kinezim Zav. I was thinking about this pasuk too. I was going to actually quote this. He's like a gold ring in the snout of a pig, right? That's that's a mashal for in Shlomo, a beautiful woman without reason. Nice. Okay, without like intelligence, that's like that's in Mishlei, yeah. Shelo yishader b'inyano mipnei hanezem. So a pig with a gold ring in its snout, the pig is not beautified by the ring, even though the ring itself is beautiful. Ukamucha shchin rash lo yeusher b'mnei ashro. So too, the person who's covered in boils, in bad boils, is not in. Yusha must mean something else here. I think it means he's not like enhanced by his wealth. We're not going to be jealous of such a person. Okay.
You could probably extend this like if they're not happy in any way.
Yeah, right. I guess the assumption here is that they look happy. Yeah. Because I think that's what he meant by the shalva. Okay. Yeah.
It's hard. You don't know what is like going on.
Yeah, but it's a good point. Though. It's a good strategy, right? It's like if you could use that realization to get this point. That's true. I just think that's like harder to do. Yeah.
Also, it just like feels like really? Like, you really do look happy, so.
Right. And also, this is not the argument he's making.
Yeah.
The argument he's making is don't be jealous because Ner Rishayim Yidach. That's different than saying that right now they're not happy.
Well, that's not what he's saying right now.
That's not what he's saying right now, right? But I'm saying that the argument that the pasuk is going to be making.
Yeah.
Right. That is the main intent in warning us not to be jealous of sinners and Rishayim. Let's just finish this one and the next one, and then we'll stop for today. We should, make them disgusting, and degrade them in the eyes of our hearts. Gam in our mind's eye, because because those possessors of wealth and honor. Does yours say midatenu? After that, ki bali osher v'kavod midatenu. Something about that seems grammatically weird.
We've covered before that.
Okay, comma midatenu.
Yeah.
Meaning we should keep in mind ki lakala v'nechratza, that they're going to be for destruction and I think loss. V'ein ha'osher ha'kavod hu yisron lahem, and this osher and kavod is not going to be a benefit for them. And this is going to be explained after in the next pasuk. So let's just read the first paragraph of this pasuk, because then looks like it goes on to another thing. Kiloti achris lora nirshayim yidach ki in oram mipas ma'alas nafsham. Their light is not on account of the stature or the level or the state of their soul. Ach shalvasam uchavodam kener asher ya'ir la'adam v'yichale oro kechalos shmeno. So he is saying it's going to run out of fuel, right? He's saying that rather their tranquility and their kavod is like a nair that illuminates for a person, but then ends. Its light stops when its oil runs out. Gam harishayim tismale se'etam v'yichale tuvam. So too, the Rishayim are going to reach their fill, and their good will deplete. All right, we got to analyze this more tomorrow. But this is like a Pirkei Avos style Rabbeinu Yonah, where he's giving like a long discourse in full sentences. Yeah. All right, so let's stop here for today. And no, he doesn't. But it doesn't more Pirkei Avos than Mishlei. I feel like there are parts that are like fragments of commentary or like notes, where sometimes it's like a treatise. Yeah. All righty.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
See ya. All right.